So it's great to be here in Leeds. We spent a couple of days with Andy in London and learned a lot, and it's amazing to travel and learn from others. This is a couple of pictures from Norway. This one is from northern Norway, but the three other pictures is from the area where I'm from. And as you can see, in Norway, very few people living there. And there's some advantages when there are few people. They're easy to do stuff. And in Norway, there's tons of school doing physical active learning. We are rich in many natural resources, and we love English football. It's just crazy. I'm coaching my son, he's 9-year-old, there are 35 boys, and they all have jerseys of different clubs. And I'm 47, and people older than me, they like Stoke, Derby, Nottingham, Wolverhampton, and Leeds. The young kids today, they are primarily in the Manchester, Liverpool, and London clubs. So.
And tell me who you support.
Tonight on the pub. we had one kid from my hometown, and he's a very good friend of mine, and he played for your club. You know this guy? Eric Bakke. Yeah. So he played 143 games for Leeds, and he is the coach of Sogndal. And they are working really hard now to get promoted to the Premier League in Norway. So he told me that he liked this guy, Bielsa. And so he's really following Leeds now and see if they can walk to the Premier League again. So very exciting times for Bakke. And he sent us hello. So this is where we are born and bred. So we are living in the fjords and mountains. And you're all very welcome to visit. I expect you and if you come in not too far distance. And we were very fortunate. We got a $5 million grant to build a center for physical active learning in Norway. So that's what I'm going to do the next 5 years. I'm going to work together with teachers in partnership to develop physically active learning. So I've been a researcher for 15 years now in the field. But I realized that if we ever going to make this sustainable, there's only one way, and that is to work in partnership with teachers and develop physical active learning. And that is very inspiring for me to come here to Leeds University, because they're very similar, the things we do and how we think. So I got some great news from Norway. Just before Christmas, in English it's the Standing Committee on Health and Care Services. They made a majority resolution that the government must present a case to the Parliament that ensures all Norwegian school children, 1st to 10th grade, to have a minimum of 1 hour every day. So this is fantastic news, but it's also bad news, because this is what a lot of teachers feel is a top-down process. And a top-down process is not something that will scale up and be successful. So this is fantastic, but it's also not good. That's just how it is. The thinking is that we need to do more prevention and more health promotion and less repair. That is kind of the basic thinking. And then we have to start with kids. In Norway, we had a physical activity action plan in 2005, where 8 ministers signed this PA action plan together, working together for physical activity. That kind of kicked off a lot of the programs and the thinking. And in 2012, we joined in on the World Health Organization's global plan to reduce non-communicable diseases by 25% within 2025. And they say cost-effectiveness actions against 4 common underlying risk factors. And for us that work with physical activity or physical inactivity, this is a major thing that we are. When they talk about physical inactivity on the same level as tobacco and diet and alcohol, that is really a breakthrough. I think that is really important. So in Norway, the Director of Health, they had an expert group, and this expert group, they said we have 5 actions, and one of them was 60-minute daily physical activity throughout primary and secondary school. So this was 5 years ago. So in one way, you need to be kind of sense of urgency, and the other way, you need to be very patient in these processes. And also, one of the reasons why a lot of politicians started to like this idea is that they did some conservative analysis, cost-effective analysis, and they stated in Norway that the potential economical benefits to society in a lifetime perspective for each child is 27 times the cost. So this is kind of, good money. This is value for money. If we can get all kids to be active 1 hour every day, that is a fantastic investment. But there is trouble. There's trouble in Norway. And in Norway, all teachers are organized in a union. Almost every single teacher are organized in the same union, and they are very strong and powerful. And they don't like this idea. The reason why is that they are not happy with another top-down process, another top-down decision. They say that the politicians have never been in a classroom since they were kids, and it's changed a lot. They are telling us how to teach. So they don't like it. And also they say that physical active learning reduces the teacher's freedom to choose the didactic method. The teacher will choose themselves. They won't be told what to do. And also, and I agree on this point number 3, most teachers are not ready for a big nationwide implementation of physical active learning because they don't have enough competence, and they don't have the tools, and they don't have the equipment. But these 3 here is what I'm going to spend all my time the next 5 years developing together with teachers in partnership. So, I think the solution, if we're going to be successful at this in Norway, is 4 things. First, we need to explain what 60 minutes of physical activity entails. What is it really? Because I feel that a lot of people don't understand what it is, or they don't want to understand what it is. One of those two. And then we need to have an anchoring and acceptance process where the stakeholders, the principals, the headmasters, the teachers, they need to be involved from day 1. And maybe we need to think 4, 6, maybe 8-year perspective. We would love all kids to be active tomorrow, but I think we need to be very patient. Change takes time. To change the culture of school takes many years. And then we need professional development for teachers. They need to be able to take after education courses. And then we need to provide them with tools and equipment for teachers. So we need to help them be successful. In our thinking, we don't like how this is written. We shouldn't kind of develop something and give it to the teachers. They don't like that way. What we need to do is to work together with them. And I cannot underline that point enough. If we're going to be successful, we need to work together with the teachers, where we are even. And we need to recognize the teachers as the expert in the classroom. And hopefully, if we do a good job, they acknowledge us as experts in science and implementation and so on, and we work together. That's when you can establish something that's going to be sustainable in the long run. So this is how we think. So when I talk about 60 minutes a day, a lot of people don't really get what it is. And in Norway, we don't only talk about physical activity, we talk about physical activity and education. So 60 minutes a day, or 300 minutes a week. So I made this overview. You have physical education, which is a school subject, of course. You have recess, after-school programs, biking and walking to and from school, active homework, which was something we did in the Ask study. You have outdoor school, which is very common in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade. And then you have physical activity. And of course the daily mile, we don't have it in Norway yet, and the super movers and so on. So there's tons of stuff you can put in here. In Norway we talk about 4 different types of physical activity. One is in fact a subject that was introduced in 2009. It's 76 hours on 5th, 6th and 7th grade, so it's more or less 40 minutes a week. And it's not PE, it's not PAL, it's just as many kids as active as possible. And then you have tons of schools that they're allowed to take 5 minutes of each lesson and have half a day of physical activity. Many schools does this. So then they have the half an hour of physical activity. But it's not PAL, it's not PE. And then you have what I think is the most important part. If you're ever going to be successful in 60 minutes a day, this is the most important part. And I will explain why. And Then we have what we call brain breaks, which is really a bad word because the brain doesn't take a break when we're doing the dancing. So we call it the 5 minute. I don't know what would be the best word. Brain energizer.
Energizer.
Yeah. So we need to explain to headmasters and teachers and parents that this is like a menu where you can pick. Because I think if we ever want to be successful, we need to present this to the teachers and the schools and say, look at everything you can do. And we will provide you with competence, and tools and skills and videos on BBC and everything. But then you have to decide what you want to pick. You can cherry pick. And there's no silver bullet. There's no magical. You know, I read about the Daily Mile, I read about the super movies. There's no silver bullet that's going to change everything. So, 6th grade, in Norway, they do 40 minutes regardless. They have 90 minutes of PE. A lot of schools do 60 minutes of PAL, 2 times 30 or 3 times 20 minutes. 3 days a week is 30 minutes. You can put in a 5-minute brain energizer a day, and you can run the Daily Mile, 50 minutes a day, put in a recess, just one day, have a recess program, and bang, you have 300 minutes. It's not that hard. So when I show this slide to teachers, they say, this is something we, in fact, can do. Because 60 minutes every day just sounds too much for most teachers. So this was 6th grade, 1st grade. Probably no Daily Mile there. You can have outdoor school, you can have double brain breaks. You can only have 25-minute PAL, and of course they have PE. And they can just mix it as they want. So they decide what they want to do. So this is 4th grade. I just mix it up differently. 9th grade. They don't have this one. So I think this is the key. The most important thing, physical active learning. And the way we do it in Norway is almost always outdoor. We do it in the schoolyard and are running, not in the classroom. Because it's limited how much movement you can do in the classroom. So, the anchoring process, I think that in Norway now, with the resistance from the teacher unions and also the resistance from the political parties that are in charge, I think we have a stepwise and long process. As I said, maybe 6, 7, 8 years. That's the perspective we need to have. And maybe we should start with 1st to 7th grade, move on to 8 to 10, and then maybe, what we call high school. Also, we need to develop a system that's a win-win, so that the teachers and the schools feel that, wow, this is something that is meaningful for us in the daily life. This is something that is good. This makes the school day better, we learn better, we are less bullying, more focused, more time on task. And we need to kind of, as researchers, me and Andy and the researchers, we need to move back in the room, and when there are prizes and diplomas, then it's the teachers and the headmasters who need to have all the glory. Because they need to develop ownership. So it needs to be meaningful for all parts. And also, politicians need to spend money. But as we have seen, this is a fantastic investment, regardless how much money they spend. They will get value for money. But we need to give money to schools so they can have some resources. And in Norway now, we try to make it mandatory by law. So they have to put it in the timetable. Physically active learning should be standing in the timetable. So, more great news. Very happy. We got this big grant. First $3 million, and it will be 2 more. So, $5 million in 5 years. And so I will work with 100 schools, and we kind of put this out in the newspapers, and they apply. So we're going to work with 100 motivated schools, and 10 teachers in each school. So we're going to be 1,000 teachers. And we're going to give them a 15 ECTS continuing teacher education program that is online based, but we will also go out there and visit the schools and give them the competence they need. But we won't give them the competence, we will develop it together with them in kind of a non-stop process. We will never reach a point when we can say, oh, this is the perfect physical active learning program. It will never arrive. It will be a work in progress forever. And that's the mindset we need to have. And we need to constantly adjust and improve the program. This is a work in progress based on teachers' feedback. So, and they will work a lot on how to plan, carry out, and evaluate the PL based on a method where the students or the teacher both reflect on what's happening with the kids, but they also need to reflect what's happening with themselves. So when the teacher does physically active learning, he will need to write reports to us. This is what happened to the kids, but then they also have to write a report. This is happening to me, because teachers are changed when they do the PAL. Because if you challenge teachers and you ask them, what is your view of learning? What is your learning philosophy? They start to talk, and you can just cut them off and say, no, you're just talking about teaching. I mean, what is your philosophy for learning? And then a lot of teachers, they don't know what to say. Then you ask them, what is your philosophy on children? How much should they sit still during a day? So we challenge these teachers a lot, because they're going to be chaperones. These 1,000 teachers are going to be chaperones. They're going to teach more teachers, and then they need to learn how to ask the right questions. So we have a big online resource with more than, we have 131. We call it FAL in Norway, but that's PAL. Different lessons, so they can go in on this webpage, see videos, and see descriptions. And every single one is made by teachers. For teachers, by teachers. We just organize it. I think that's a very good sales point. This is something that teachers have made in real schools with real kids. And we also have 115 brain energizers where they can go in and beep, beep, go dancing in the classroom. They just love it. I've never met a kid that says, no, I want to sit by my desk and work in my book. Kids love it. Yeah. I want to show you one example, but technology failed. So we had, this is private in Norway, but we have more than 126,000 visits. So this is something teachers use in Norway, and it's for free. Everything is for free, which I think it has to be. But we have observed now that we have people from many countries checking out on this. And we have like 4 or 5 base, like internet resource base in Norway, and we're going to merge them to one. That's also going to be a big job I'm going to do. So the 3 things we're going to work on: 1, give them competence, and after training program is what we call it, online for mostly. And then we're going to give them tools and through this homepage, and then we're going to give them equipment. Each school that joins us get equipment for approximately £8,000. Which we have used more than 10 years to kind of develop what is good for the math and Norwegian and Norwegian stuff. So before I go into landing, I guess you all see this data from Lancet, probably the best data in the world on diabetes type 2, which I would call maybe the most typical life disease or unhealthy life disease. So in the 1980s, around 100 million people had diabetes, and it's 85% type 2, which is the lifestyle related, and 15% diabetes type 1. In 2014, it was fourfolded, and Lancet think this is going to increase to 700 million people in 2025. That's kind of insane high numbers, I think. And this is just not sustainable. We got to do something. And when I travel around visiting schools, last week I was in Finland, because they do great stuff in the school system there. Spent a couple of days, one day doing research, and one day I was out visiting schools. And when I see a 10-year-old boy or girl, young Spider-Man running around, I'm thinking physical activity is so important right now. The acute effect of physical active learning, although it's hard to show, like Andy's review showed. You know, there are tons of positive effects, but the really strong effect, I think, is in the long run. Because when I look at kids, I don't only think of them as little boys and girls on their own. I think of them as the next generation of adults. So I'm just telling you people, when you are looking at kids, don't think about them as kids just running around. Think about that in 30 years from now, they're going to be 40 years old. every single 40-year-old person in England in 30 years, or 10 years now, it is much more easy to prevent than repair. It's easier, it's cheaper, it's better. But in Norway, we do not have a system. The health system is not set up for prevention. It's set up for fixing sick people. I guess it's the same everywhere. So thank you for your attention. And this is a picture from my hometown. So you're very welcome to visit. And in this school, where my kids go, they do 60 minutes every day. And we spend approximately almost 10 years to change the culture. So change is hard. We need to get teachers on board, and the teachers need to have ownership to this, and they need to think that this is meaningful. You know, we had a visitor from the US this spring called Toporowski, and I know he's been working with Andy, and he said that the single most important thing, and I agree 100%, for this to be sustainable, is the teacher needs to say, this is meaningful for me in my work as a teacher. So we have a long way to go.